हेलो
दृश्यते
अस्तु
PPT
धन्यवादः
दृश्यते
धन्यवादः धन्यवादः Namaskaram to everybody. Welcome back to this session on Vedanta Karikavali, which is a primer on Vishishtadvaita Vedanta. Today let us aim to complete the Dharma Bhuta Jnana section and begin with Jiva Nirupana, the section on Jiva. Hopefully, Shriman Venkatanatha Arya Kavitarkikesari Vedantacharyavaryo me Sannidhattam Sadahrudim Jnananandamayan Devam Nirmalaspatikakritim Adharam Sarvavidyanam Hayagrivopaslahem Yonityamachyutapadam Bhujayugma Rukma Vyamo Hatastatitarani Trinaya Mene Asmadgurur Bhagavatos Dayeka Sindhoho Ramanujasya Charanau Sharanam Prapadye Srimad Ramadhavo Pajñam Nattvacharya Paramparam Urve Lakshmana Siddhanta Karikam Karikavali. Okay, this is the high level overview on Dharma Bhuta Jnana, comparative analysis. We need to continue from the 16th Karika. In the Dharma Bhuta Jnana Nirupana, or the chapter on Dharma Bhuta Jnana, the author has chosen to explain about the means for liberation. Why? Because Jnanan Mokshaha is the dictum of the Upanishads, and both the Bhakti Yoga and Prapatti are actually, let us say, a transformation of the Dharma Bhuta Jnana, because of which Brahman or Ishvara or Vishnu is pleased and he grants moksha. Ultimately, it is Bhagavan or Brahman or Vishnu who grants moksha. But there is a requirement on the part of the Jivatma to deserve, to become eligible to receive the moksha or to gain moksha. And how does he prove his eligibility? By adopting either Bhakti Yoga or Prapatti Yoga, which are again, let us say, a transformation or a state of Dharma Bhuta Jnana. That is the reason the author has chosen to explain the means to moksha under the Dharma Bhuta Jnana Nirupana or section. Nyasa Vidya Prapattisyat Anka Prapanchaka Yogini Anga Panchaka Yogini Anukulyasya Sankalpaha Pratikulyasya Varjanam Rakshishyati Vishwaso Goptritva Varanam Tatha Atma Nikshepakarpanye Anga Panchaka Miritam. We saw about the Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is very similar to the Ashtanga Yoga. Ashta Anga means 8 limbs basically. The 8th Anga is the Angi actually. Samadhi is the Angi and the rest are all Angas. Of course, Samadhi itself becomes an Anga also in the process. Therefore, it is called as Ashtanga Yoga. In the same way, Prapatti also has 5 Angas. Again, these 5 Angas are more of, let us say, a realization, let us say, and a Sankalpa, which are all related to Dharma Bhuta Jnana. And Prapatti or surrender is a process that one has to do through an Acharya to Bhagavan. Okay, as I said before, Prapatti is supposed to be understood or known more or much from an Acharya directly, not through other sources. Therefore, whatever is possible that will be explained in this classes. Rest has to be known by approaching an Acharya. So, Anukulyasya Sankalpaha. Okay, when see Bhakti Yoga, we all know is quite understandable. It begins with Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama and all. And the focus of meditation is Bhagavan. And by filling the mind or jnana with thoughts about Bhagavan, what happens is one is able to get his karma, let us say, extinguished or deleted or destroyed. Then he becomes eligible to attain moksha. What about Prapatti? Prapatti is realizing that the inability to take up Bhakti Yoga as its demands are very high. It's quite quite difficult to pursue bhakti yoga in Kali Yuga, and it need not be asked about today's state. Therefore, Vishishtadvaita, for the past, let us say at least 1000 to more than 1000 years, Prapatti has been the marga or way to moksha. Why? Because it is so happen people are not eligible to, not, it's not easy for people to take a bhakti yoga. So what is Prapatti yoga? Is the feeling that I am incapable of taking up any other upaya, which is karpanya. On the 17th verse, you would find the word karpanya. Karpanya is let us say a resignation on the part of the jivatma that he is not able to choose any other upaya like karma yoga or jnana yoga or bhakti yoga, which are angas to bhakti yoga basically. But he has a desire to attain moksha, and he realizes that only Bhagavan can grant moksha, and to fall under his feet or to seek refuge at his holy feet is the only way. Therefore, he possesses karpanyam. That's why karpanya dosho pahata swabhava. There's a shloka in the Bhagavad Gita, which is a very famous shloka, and it is used as a daily anusandhanam by Sri Vaishnavas, because that shloka, it's a kind of reminder of the Jivatma that out of Karpanya he has chosen to fall under the feet of Bhagavan. Karpanya dosha apahata swabhavaha. Because of Karpanya dosha, Arjuna says he is not able to decide for himself or for sure what is right. He is confused very much, and therefore he says prapannaha. Yat Shreyaha Syat Tat Nishchitam Mama Bruhi Me Bruhi. That's what he prays. So whatever is the best for me, whatever is the right one for me, most right, advise me that. That is his prayer. So feeling they are realizing one's karpanya. Then next is, because we have decided to seek the refuge of the Bhagavan's feet. Now we have to take a resolution that one will follow the shastras as much as one can do, and therefore only be favorable to Bhagavan, will not accrue or will not do, or rather will do only those activities which would please the Bhagavan. That is the anukulyasya sankalpaha, and the counterpart of it or the opposite of that is pratikulyasya varjanam. So one will not indulge in any other activity which will not please Bhagavan. Why? Because here we are taking refuge in his at his divine feet with a promise that I will be good henceforth, I will not be bad. Then this is what we saw in the last class. Rakshishyati vishwasaha, maha vishwasaha rather, that at any cost Bhagavan will protect us. This we also see some stories like why kids allow their parents to hold their hands and so on. Why? Because they know for sure the trust is very high that parents will not uh, or the father or mother will not let their hands go. This afternoon also when I was playing with my kid, very confidently the kid is jumping onto you from a height. So this is natural, that faith is there, that because the father, he will not put me down or let me down. So this is a kind of faith, leaving everything. It is not like holding on to something else to our might and then saying I believe in you. No, this is absolute. You just jump off the cliff believing that God will protect, and this is anubhava. Okay, and this we're going to see in the coming slides that even to choose this path of prapatti is not easy, because the intelligence in us will not allow. The intelligence in us, it keeps on asking logical questions. How can that be possible? When you are given all these things, you have to do your effort and so on. But we have to understand that it's only for moksha. Okay, it does not mean that a prapanna should not do anything for his life. No, still he has a body, he has to live the remaining part of his life. So he has to do all the karma, whatever is ordained to him. He has to do all the karma, but those karmas would be done with a thought that it is all kainkarya or service to Bhagavan. I don't mean to achieve anything out of these karma for myself, but still I have to do because it is the shastras which are put down or laid down by Bhagavan, and if you don't follow the shastras, it will not please Bhagavan. Therefore, now I'm a good boy or a good man. I would follow the rules. So therefore, he would continue to follow all the karma, but very freely. He will not have any. He should not have. Ideally, he should not have any tension in his mind that I have to complete this karma. I am doing this, or because I am expecting the result out of it. Nothing. Now my job is done. After this janma, I'm going to get moksha. But until then, let me be. Let me try to follow whatever I'm supposed to do, but without any let us say anxiety or fear or whatever things, just to have a very clear mind and then pursue and have the sadhya bhakti basically. So these are the five angas: anukulyasya sankalpah, pratikulyasya varjanam, rakshishyati iti vishwasah, gotritva varnam. Yeah, now one has to seek, one has to request openly that you have to protect me. This is all said in the Shastras. This is all said in the Agamas very clearly. That's why these are all part of the Angas. Goptritva Varnam means one has to seek, one has to say openly that you Tvam me Gopayita Bhava. Oh Bhagavan, you have to protect me. Then Atma Nikshepa is the Angi. The Atma Nikshepa means placing. So placing the Atma, or rather it's not literal, it is more of psychological, or so you prostrate basically. One has to prostrate before the Acharya or Bhagavan as many times possible during the process of Prapatti. So this Anga Panchaka is for Atma Nikshepa, Karpanya, Anukulya Sankalpaha, Pratikulya Varjanam, Rakshishati Vishwasaha, and Gotrita Varanam are the five Angas for Prapatti. Okay. Now, एवं सामान्यतो ब्रह्म विद्या उपवयम न्यास विद्यायाम विशेषमाह. Upavayam, not sure this word. Upavarnya, I think it should be Upavarnya maybe. Yeah, Upavarnya. Let me correct it later. Evam Samanyato Brahma Vidyam Upavarnya. Having explained about Brahma Vidya, Nyasa Vidyayam Visheshamaha. So Nyasa Vidya, Prapatti is actually Nyasa Vidya. It is part of the Angas, or it is part of the Vidyas taught by the Upanishads. Nyasa Vidyeti Prapattireva Nyasa Ityuchate. Prapattireva Nyasa Ityuchate. Prapatti and Nyasa are Paryaya Vachi, are synonyms. Tasman Nyasa Mesham Tapasam Atirikta Mahu is the statement from the Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad. So therefore it says Nyasam as a separate Vidya. Ityadishruto Nyasapadena Prapattireva Uchyate. By the word Nyasa, Prapatti or surrender, Sharanagati is mentioned. Upasana yatha chashtango yoga tata nyasaha panchango yoga ityuchate. This we saw. Just like a upasana or bhakti yoga is called as Ashtanga yoga, Prapatti is called as Panchanga yoga. Tani cha Panchangani Lakshmi Tantroditani Yaha. Lakshmi Tantra is a text of the Pancharatra Ragama, which is of very prominent, which is very important pramana. Anukulya Yeti, Anukulya, etc. Anukulya Sankalpaha, Pratikulya Varjanam. Should be Anukulya Sankalpaha. Anukulya Sankalpaha, Pratikulya Varjanam. Mahavishwasaha, Goptritva Varanam, Karpanyamiti, Panchangani. These are all explained earlier. Atma Nikshepaha Angi. Atma Nikshepa or the surrender is the Angi, for which the previous five are Angas. Evam cha Anginasaha Nyasaha Shodha Pariganyate. With the Angi, Nyasa is sixfold. Yatha Dhyane Angina Sahashtango Yoga iti Pariganam. How Angi, Dhyana is the Angi, a Samadhi. How 8 Angas, Ashtanga Yoga, that's how it is counted. The same way, Prapatti is sixfold or fivefold. Anukulya Sankalpadinam Swarupa Muktam Lakshmi Tantre. Now, the commentator, he chooses to list the Pramana shlokas for the 5 Angas, which we'll go through quickly. Anukulyamiti Proktam Sarva Bhutanukulata Tateva Pratikulyam cha Bhuteshu Parivarjayet. Now, Anukulyam means being favorable to all the bhutas, which would mean following the Shastras basically. Because if you don't follow the Shastras, then there is a chance of committing, let us say, Himsa to. One second. Okay. Yeah. So he has to follow the Shastras or be favorable to Bhagavan, which is like being favorable to all the beings. Pratikulyam is just the reverse, avoiding to be pratikula, leaving the pratikula nature swabhava, then tyago garvasya karpanyam shruta shiladi janmadaha. Yeah. What is karpanyam? Karpanyam is giving up the garva, the pride or the ahankara that I can manage by myself. I will do it myself. And that garva can be of three, can come from three sources basically. Shruta means learning, education. Sheelam means conduct, and janma means by birth, and by wealth, etc. So these are the sources of garva. So basically these have to be given up. Anga samagri sampattehe ashakterepi karmanam. And if you want to do the karmas, basically we need so many vishayas to gain the dravya, etc. So karpanya could also mean the inability to procure the dravyas for the karmas basically. Adhikarasya chasiddhehe deshakala gunakshayat upaya naiva siddhyanti hya upaya bahulastata. Therefore, the feeling that I cannot take up other means to attain moksha, the resignation to that to prapatti, that is karpanya. Iti ya garvahanihi taddainyam karpanyam uchite. Dainyam is dina bhavaha. Dinasya bhavaha dainyam. Dina means in normal language you say poor or one who is unable, etc. Shaktehe supasadatvacha kripa yogacha shashpatat. Now, supasadatvacha kripa yogacha shashpatat. Now the Shakti is basically I mean the inability to take up the doing any karma or completing it. Therefore, it is dependent on the kripa of Bhagavan. ईशितव्य संबंधात् अनिदं पतमादपि रक्षिष्यति अनुकूलात् न इति या सुदृढा मतिः. रक्षिष्यति कूलान्. Okay. Now that is why the Puranas are filled with stories that Bhagavan has saved many people and animals even when they were surrendered unto him. Therefore, now the belief is gained that he will save me also, or he will protect me also, because I am not the first one to surrender. Sa vishvaso bhavet chakra sarva dushkrita nashanaha karunavanapi vyaktam. Okay, and karunavanapi vyaktam okay. Now sa vishvaso bhavet chakra sarva dushkrita nashaha. That the faith will what it will do is it will destroy all these sins basically. Now the next part is that though Bhagavan is praised to be a very compassionate being, still aprarthito na gopayaditi tat prarthana matihi. If we do not seek him, if we do not pray to him, if we do not request him, then he will not protect. So gopayita bhava ityevam goptatva varnam smritam. Therefore, one has to request him that you be my protector. Tena samrakshymanasya phale swami abhyuktata keshavarpana paryanta hi atma nikshepa uchyate. Therefore, even the result of surrender is not for one's own sake, but that's why I said to go in detail is not possible now, but one has to approach a guru and know the sampradaya basically. In a nutshell, the Atma itself is a property of Bhagavan. That's how the thought process should be for a Jivatma. Therefore, protecting the property, Bhagavan's property, one should not seek any merit out of it. One should not seek any phala out of it. It is his property that he is protecting. That should be the attitude while surrendering. Therefore, Keshava Arpanam. Therefore, this is Arpana Arpita to Keshava. That's how Atma Nikshepa should be done. Nikshepa Apara Paryaya Nyasaha Panchanga Sanyutaha. So Nikshepa, Nyasaha, Prapatti are all same. Sannyasa Tyaga Ityuktaha Sharanagati Retyapi. It's also called by names such as Sannyasa, Tyaga, Sharanagati, etc. So this is about Prapatti, which is one of the most important means of attaining moksha. Now, Guru Pasadana Desha Vignatavya Manishibihi Yamuttara Purvagha Svesha Nasha Krit Uchyate. Now, that's why the Karikavali also says Guru Upasanat Esha. Only by attaining a Guru, this has to be learnt in detail by an intelligent man or a jnani. What does it do? It destroys Uttara Purva Agha Ashlesha. Uttara means what is about to come. Purva means what is gathered so far, what has been collected so far. That's Sanchita. So it destroys Sanchita karma and Agami karma, which I'll explain in the picture later. Nashakrit Uchyate. न्यासविद्या स्वरूपं तन् महिमा तदधिकार इत्यादिकं सर्वं गुरुमुखात् अवगन्तव्यम् इत्यत्र आह. That's a question. Audio is lost. Is it for everybody? Can someone confirm if you're able to hear me? Hello? We can hear. Okay, okay. It's only for that person maybe. Yeah. So ityadikam sarvam guru mukhat avagantavyam ityaha. So these have to be learned from a guru directly. Okay. Now manishibhi ityanena sarasara viveka jnananam eva atra pravati sambhavati nan yesham autaskutanam iti venjitam. Now this is why I said before, like prapatti is a very difficult you can hear. Okay. Prapatti is a very difficult upaya in the sense it demands complete faith. Even science, when they the scientists or the medical this thing, what they do is when they do a research on the brain, they say one side we have the logical thinking, other one we have the artistic or the other way. Now there's always a tension between the two parts. Faith is obstructed by logic. As long as we tend to think logically, until then faith does not dawn. But once faith dawns, then there is no need for logical thinking. I mean, this is even in a practical life that we see. We don't think much when we have faith, and we don't believe when we keep on asking questions. Therefore, the commentator says, "Kautas kutanam, kautas kutaha, kutaha." The Nayayikas they use the Panchami Bhakti for the hetu. So they what they always say kutaha, 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 kautas kutaha. So people who keep on questioning without trying to allow the faith to build upon, they cannot take up prapatti. We perform prapatti as we're unable to perform bhakti yoga, but with 6 anga it seems tougher than bhakti yoga itself. Okay, yeah, it is true, but here the understanding is that it's only a guarantee that we make at the time of prapatti. Okay, so with a prayer that Bhagavan will make us eligible to fulfill that guarantee. So it is like even for that we are going to seek his help. See, in bhakti yoga we still walk, and whenever we are unable to walk we seek the help. But prapatti yoga is allowing Bhagavan to carry. Like if you're going in a train, a bus for long journey, you need not keep on assessing when the train reach the station, get down and see if it is things are okay, then trying to do something else and all. So you don't have to do anything. Just have to be a good passenger sitting there comfortably enjoying the journey. That's prapatti. Don't have to do anything extra. But the bhakti yoga is not like that. Bhakti yoga is you take up the responsibility, but when not possible, seek help. But prapatti is like having complete faith, but still you do a duty. That duty is for the sake of pleasing God, for the sake of doing kankarya, not for anything else. But bhakti yoga, you do karma, but that karma with an intention that it will help you to gain moksha. 6 sanghas are not effort by us, but developed in us by Bhagavan. See, it's a very tricky thing. Bhagavan gives us the buddhi and also the sharira to do things. Okay, but still, if you think properly, we are not doing everything by ourselves. That's the realization. At the same time, then we cannot say we're not doing anything. Both are, not completely right. It is not like Bhagavan does everything, we don't do anything. This is one extreme view. Another one is I do everything, Bhagavan does not have any role to play. No, that is also not right. Bhagavan facilitates. Just like in an organization, for a manager, let us say the company provides all the facilities. It gives employees to him, it gives a desk and table and computer, everything. Then he is allowed to work basically. Now the manager does something and he cannot claim that he is doing everything. So like that, Bhagavan is giving us everything, but that manager has to do his duty there. Okay. Now let us say in Bhakti Yoga, he has to worry about the performance appraisal, he has to think about so many things. But in Prapatti, let us say, he just has to perform his duty just have to perform his duty for the sake of doing it. There is no tension in him. He does not worry about performance appraisal, nothing, because he has surrendered. Whatever now this is, whatever I'm going to do is for the sake of Kainkariya towards Bhagavan. I need not worry about anything because now he will take care of myself. Okay, so more than anything beyond this, as the Karikavali author says, one has to approach an acharya and then try to learn more. As of now, Prapatti is an alternative to Bhakti Yoga. Prapatti is giving up the responsibility for attaining moksha. That does not mean that one should give up all activities and then be idle or something like that. No, one has to keep on doing his daily nitya karma, naimitya karma, etc. But as a Kainkariya to Bhagavan, and not with the intention that I do this karma because this will help me to attain moksha. No, those kind of thoughts are given up. Okay. Yeah. But if you, as you say, if you look very closely, Prapatti seems to be a bit difficult one, because that Mahavishwasa is what is eluding us from many things. At least Bhakti Yoga, you one would have the comfort that no, I am doing something. But Prapatti is not like that. Yeah, allowing Bhagavan to protect us. Yeah. So Nyasasa Vaishishtyam. What is Nyasasa Vaishishtyam? Uttaraghashleshah Purvaghanashasya Nyasa Mahimna Sambhavati Ityartha. Just like Bhakti Yoga, Prapatti Yoga also destroys the sins which are performed before Prapatti. For example, this morning I do Prapatti, then until the moment I perform Prapatti, whatever sins were there, those will be destroyed by the power of Prapatti. And like the 5 Angas, theoretically, technically, if one is a real Prapanna, then he would not commit any sin later on. So the power of Prapatti, it wards off all future sins. It do not touch him. So Nyasa Mahimna, because of the Mahima of Nyasa, all these things become possible. Tatra Bhakti Yoga Nishtasya Prarabdehe Apurvaghameva Nashyet. Prarabdham tu Bhogaika Pranashyam. Prapanna Vishayetu Prarabdham api Yathavilashitam Sadhyeva Pranashyati iti Visheshaha. Okay, this we will see in the next slide. This the meaning of this slide, this sentence, what it means is that for Bhakti Yoga Nishtha, Sanchita Karma is destroyed, Agami also will not touch him, but the opened sack, the opened mutha, the Prarabdha Karma has to be experienced by the Bhakti Yoga Nishtha. But this Prarabdha Karma, we do not know how many births we have to take to exhaust it. Because one piece of, whatever the Prarabdha Karma is there, when the Bhakti Yoga fructions, when it actually fructifies, that portion of Prarabdha Karma has to be experienced and exhausted. That's what he says. Prarabdham tu bhogaika pranashyam. It has to be exhausted by experience for the Bhakti Yoga Nishtas. But Prapanna Vishaye, the glory of Prapatti is that if someone is a Artha Prapanna, he seeks moksha the very instant he does Prapatti. He does not have any patience to wait or experience the samsaric life. And in experience, this has happened. We have heard of Acharya say that at least a couple of people in the recent past, say within 100 years, have performed Artha Prapatti, that I want moksha just now. I cannot wait. And what we learn is that behind the screen, when the Prapatti was being done, but the moment the Prapatti process was over, the Jivatma had already left the Sharira, and which is an indication that he has attained moksha. So that's why he's saying Prarabdham api yathavilashitam. Normal process is that Prapatti will not grant moksha instantly. If it does, then nobody will go and perform Prapatti, because everybody will wait to would like to wait till the end. When I am not actually able to do anything, then I would take up sannyasa. That just very jokingly we say. Therefore, if a Prapatti were to mean that the moment you do Prapatti, you will gain moksha, then not many people would be interested. So that's why the clause is that yatha vilashitam. That's why normal process is that etad deha abasane. At the end of this birth, I am not in a hurry. At the end of this birth, let me get moksha. But it is possible that people can request for moksha instantly. So yathabhilashitam sadyeva pranashati iti visheshah. So prarabdha karma is destroyed completely, or rather it can be destroyed completely by prapatti, or it can leave a little amount which is sufficient to for this life to end. Now the three pramana shlokas: sadhanam bhagavat praptau sayeveti stiramatihi sadhya bhaktistata seva prapattiriti giyate. What is prapatti? Sadhanam bhagavat praptau sayeva iti stiramatihi. Bhagavan is the means to attain himself. Just like how a tall elephant is there, if one has to climb the elephant has to first of all relent. It would bend, it would fold its legs, and then allow the person to climb upon himself, the elephant. In the same way, to attain Bhagavan, he is the only means. But that bending can happen only if you do prapatti. So prapatti is a process just to make him relent, because now he is not relenting. Why? Because we have so much of karma and we have not followed the shastras and so on, so on. But now we make a resolution that you please protect me, and then I know I will adhere to all the things, so to say. Then there is a then he relents. The moment he relents, he gives the he extends his feet for us to climb upon. Just to put it figuratively. Okay, so sadhya bhakti is prapatti. Therefore, prapatti, that's called as sadhya bhakti. Now, what is bhakti yoga? Upayo bhakti reva iti tatpraptu yatu samatihi. No, bhakti is a upaya to make Bhagavan relent. So upaya bhakti etasyaha purvokta eva gariyasi. This is upaya bhakti. What is upaya bhakti? Considering bhakti yoga as a upaya to attain moksha. Compared to this, purvokta, that is prapatti, gariyasi, it is very important, or it is more, let us say, a potent means to attain Bhagavan. Upaya bhakti prarabdha vyatirikta aghanashani. Upaya bhakti, that is bhakti yoga, can destroy all the sins, purva, uttara, agham, but not prarabdha. Prarabdha vyatirikta. But sadhya bhaktistu sahantri prarabdhasyapi bhuyasi. Sadhya bhakti can even destroy the prarabdha karma. Bhuyasi means almost completely. Okay, just to explain with the picture, effect of bhakti yoga and prapatti and karma. Sanchita karma, that is a past collection, that is destroyed. Agami karma, the future does not affect the bhakti yoga nishta or prapanna. This is common. But coming to prarabdha karma is not destroyed. It is experienced by the bhakti yoga nishta. He has to exhaust by experiencing. The prarabdha karma can be a source for this birth and many births to come. We do not know. Whereas for prapatti, prarabdha karma is limited to present birth alone. But if the power of prapatti be such that it can destroy even that, it can destroy prarabdha karma completely. But that's only for a very, very rarest of cases. But for the normal people, how the request is put forward is etat dehavasane. At the end of this birth, let me attain moksha. Therefore, prarabdha karma is limited to the present birth alone. Okay. Now, there is a rider. A rider in the sense, prapatti will fructify anyway, but it may be delayed when apacharanvita brahmavidam nasya virodhakrit anyostiti mahacharya shasanam vyavasiyate. There is one hindrance for the prapatti to fructify naturally. What is that? Apachara. Apachara means doing something wrong. A wrong doing to a brahmavit, to a jnani, or to another prapanna or bhakti yoga nishta, or one whoever is favorite to Bhagavan. Jnani tu atmaiva me mataha, says Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Me matam. So we do not know, it is better to not to harm anybody, because we never know who is dear to Bhagavan or not. But as an indication, all, let us say, bhaktas of Vishnu are dear to Bhagavan. So not doing any wrongdoing to them, that would not be an hindrance to delay moksha. If that being the case, moksha would be delayed, and we might, there could be a minor punishment to that prapanna who has done that wrongdoing or apachara. Anya asti, therefore nothing else is there which can delay prapatti. Okay. Prapannasya mukti prapto na kopi vighatako vina brahma vidapachara mityatraha. So Brahmavidam Virodhakrit Vina Anyaha Nasti. It's not there. Na Asyaha Asti. Brahmavidam Bhagavatanam Apacharan Vina Asyaha Prapattehe Phala Janane na Kopi Virodhakrit iti Mahatam Acharyanam Shasanam Nishyate. Therefore, Bhagavata, Bhagavan is Vishnu, Bhagavatas are Vishnu Bhaktas. So any apachara done to them could be a impediment in the fruition of prapatti towards moksha. But anyway, that will grant moksha, but it could be delayed or there could be some more punishment, etc. Okay. So with this, we complete Dharma Bhuta Jnana. If any questions are there, you can ask now so that we can take up the Jiva Nirupana in a fresh manner. I give a couple of, let us say, I give a couple of a minute or so. If you have any questions, you can ask me now on Dharma Bhuta Jnana and Moksha Upaya. I hope it was heard all through and it was clear also. Clear in the sense it was understandable. Drink some water. Okay. No questions. Okay, okay then. Let us move on to the next prakarana called as Jiva Prakarana. Jiva Nirupana. Just a quick, it's a question. Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes.
Sir, I want to ask a question about Mahavishwasam. I cannot understand it well. Suppose just like Draupadi, some girl is going and she is being molested. So does it mean that if she is a Prapanda, she would not protest and call God for help? Just like
Actually, voice is breaking. Can you repeat it? Draupadi, is it? No.
hello.
Yeah. Can you repeat your question, sir?
Question was about Mahavishwasam.
Yeah.
Just like the example is given of Draupadi.
Yeah.
Does it mean that suppose a girl is being molested and she should not protest and depend on God for help?
Yeah. Draupadi said as a bit of charcha, so to say, for some. But the understanding, that should not take it up literally, but the understanding behind Draupadi Rakshanam is that just like what I was saying, we should not hold on to our own efforts and still seek help. God would still help, but what it is said is that, see, it is psychological. Let us look at it. Let us look at it this way. Any effort that we do has to be very concentrated. Okay, like an example is being said. If you want to obtain water from earth, it is better to dig at one place with focus, not to dig at 10 places. Then the effort is distributed and water is not, there are chances that water may not be attained. In the same way, when it comes to the thought process of seeking protection, either you go by your own efforts, either you succeed or fail, or you give up your efforts and then surrender to Bhagavan. Now, that is what is described by here. Draupadi, she was resisting the effort of Dusashana and still praying to Bhagavan. A moment comes when she thinks that she will not be able to resist or help herself, then she gives up. But that moment, Bhagavan protects her. That's how the story goes. So that's an indication that for us that surrender means not holding on to anything. Like the story which I shared, a person falls from the cliff. He's holding on to the rope just for his own backup, and then he is expecting God to help him. That being the case, what God is not cruel in that case. What God does is He allows the Jivatma to come up on his own efforts. it should not be understood as being cruel or anything else. That's why I said psychologically, it makes more sense for us to depend on or to take up one path where the chances of succeeding is high. Rather than having 2, 3 options, what happens is it's a distraction. So it has to be understood in that way. Mahavishwasam means having complete faith and not taking up any effort. Now again, see, this is only for moksha. Okay, we may have our even for ordinary things, yoga kshema mahamyaham. See, Krishna says very clearly in the Bhagavad Gita, yoga kshema aham mahami. Prapatti Mahavishwasa is one thing which one has to dare, try, and then see the result. It is not like as long as we have the fear of water, and you won't be able to experience or enjoy swimming. So only when we give up the fear of water and then jump inside, uh, then we can actually enjoy the swimming or whatever. So this Mahavishwasa, all these things would still be not understandable or whatever, unless we practically do. That's the catch with Mahavishwasa.
And the question that I had asked about the 6 angas, it is also said that after we have performed Prapatti, God will make us lead us in such a way that these 6 angas become they come in us. So is it our effort or Bhagwan makes us do like that?
It is both actually. We submit ourselves to be done or to be activated. See, that's the I mean, giving an example of the child. As a 3-year-old child, if you want to lift the child also has to cooperate. If it resists, then you won't be able to lift it. In the same way, now if it allows, then you can lift the child very easily. So which means the child allows that itself to be lifted. So this is understanding. Bhagavan gets things done through us, but we should not resist. Basically, we should allow things to happen. Okay, and the again prapatti, only when it is done by a person in the way it has to be done, then one can see the result of prapatti. All good things happening in life. It is an experience basically. Now the question will be answered that God does everything through the jivatma for the jivatma. But then what is expected
And
is the
suppose
willingness of
after
the
a
jivatma.
willingness.
Sorry.
Suppose after doing Prapatti, one is not doing Sandhya Vandanam, having onion garlic or non-veg items. So does it mean that Prapatti is destroyed, or Bhagwan will somehow give him a good life, or overlook his mistakes?
Yeah, it's a very difficult question to answer in this forum. See, as I said before, uh, the change would be gradual. Okay, it is not that this morning I do Prapatti, this evening I transform to be an excellent Jivatma. No, because since still the Prarabdha Karma is there, something is there which is resisting the change. So things would change gradually. The first thing is to repent. Oh, I'm not able to do Sandhya Vandana, or I did not do. That is the first one, to have that remorse or that feeling. Next is, even when you eat a food which is you're not supposed to eat, then having remorse for that is the first step towards change. Then gradually the jivatma would succeed in giving up those kind of food, and he would naturally and gradually start doing sandhya vandana also. But again, that's going to take some time. Let us not say that morning you do prapatti and evening it's like a movie, you change completely into a different person. Things will happen. Things will happen gradually. That's the power of prapatti.
What are the steps to develop this Mahavishwasa? Is it described or it's a rahasya?
It's a rahasya, let me put it that way. You have to keep on listening to Bhagavan's glories and having good sambandha, acharya sambandha, bhagavata sambandha. That would naturally give us this Mahavishwasa.
Okay. And next question is what is Maya in Visishta Advaita? Like the
Maya
words that was described in the previous day, Mam Maya Duratya.
yeah,
In that
Maya is
context,
the
what is Maya?
Maya is the power of Bhagavan. Basically, Prakriti is Maya. Maya is a positive power. It stands in between the Jivatma and Paramatma. Maya It is the reason for the ajnana in the jivatma. Okay, so when mama maya dhuratyaya yesham, or other he says, only who surrender to me, I can help them to cross over or transcend maya. The power of it is not illusion as Advaitins maintain. Maya is a positive force which is basically prakriti, and the what it does is it makes the jivatma to mistake prakriti to be himself or the body to be himself. That is the power of Maya. It obstructs the vision of Bhagavan. It obstructs the rise of bhakti in the Jivatma. It is a reason for bondage, basically.
So doesn't it mean that he is responsible for our bondage because it is his Maya?
Okay, this question is a very
Or is it because of a previous karma that Maya
yes.
acts on us?
See, for any system to decide the first reason for bondage is difficult. Okay, for any system, basically, even for science, for any thought process to explain bondage, the most formidable question is to define what caused the first bondage or whatever. So in Sampradaya, what we say is that anadi karma. Karma is anadi. There was a choice for us. Perhaps we did not take the right choice. So whoever did not take the right choice were left in bondage. That's how we can understand, try to understand. But to go beyond that, it's not quite easy, because that's why acharyas accepted that karma to be anadi. The source of bondage is anadi. That's how they maintained. Why? Because it is not possible to go beyond that and do research on that. But it is not Bhagavan who is responsible for bondage. Then that would lead, that would put things in a very difficult perspective. It is the mistake of the Jivatma for sure. But when and how that mistake happened is something which cannot be answered. That's why it's understood to be anadi. And one example, what is given initially said is that there is a person who is who suddenly becomes aware of the disease in himself. Now he cannot tell the doctor that unless you tell me what caused the disease, like how did corona come to me, did I go and get it, did someone give me, until I know that I will not take medicine, then it would not make sense. Now the best thing is that I have got disease, I got the disease, somehow it has come to me. Let me not do research on how did I acquire it. Let me now try to focus on getting rid of it. That should be the attitude, basically. Maybe after we attain moksha, we can go and find that reason.
So is it that through Maya only Bhagwan gives sukham for punya and dukham for papa?
That's the sankalpa, basically. Maya is a result of the sankalpa to be with see, Maya. It's a power, basically. What it is, it's this power that he wields. Okay, Prakriti is performing, or it is working under his power, basically. But Sukha, the phala is given through his sankalpa alone. He decides. See, ultimately, like how someone approves the performance appraisals in the company, ultimately the board approves. Likewise, Bhagavan approves the punya and papa accordingly through his sankalpa, which means the Prakriti would be more favorable to one who has done more punya. The Prakriti would be more unfavorable to someone who has done more papa, the same way. So either way, it's through Prakriti only, Prakriti Sambandha only.
But the Maya is, as you said, that is the three gunas. So how can it be Sakti of God? He is beyond the three gunas. He is in Suddha Sattva.
No, he is beyond all three, but still these are under his control. He is not influenced by them. Just like how the changes in the Sharira does not affect the Atma, in the same way, the doshas or gunas in the Prakriti will not affect Bhagavan, but still he is the master of Prakriti.
Okay, okay.
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 Okay, thank you. Any more questions? We'll go on to, we'll begin with Jiva, maybe a few slides. Okay. No more questions. Okay, now. These are the different understandings about Jiva, not all, but at least a few understandings. One is the physical body itself is the Atma, that's the Charvaka to be more precise. Then Atma is Vibhu, and no intrinsic Jnana is the school of Nyaya Vaisheshika. They believe that Atma is Vibhu, it's all pervasive, but when it is in bondage, it has Sambandha only with the body. The rest of the Atma is not attached to anywhere. That's how they conceive. No intrinsic jnana. Wherever the Atma is bound by the Atma Sharira, there will be some jnana. Okay. So jnana is not a natural property of the Atma. Now comes the Sankhya Yoga. They define Jivatma to be a Sakshi, different from the Sharira and the Jnana Swarupa, but does not have the ability to gain Jnana. It's a mere Sakshi. Then Mimamsa, not much. Okay, is a question? Yes, sir. Hello? Hello? Mr. Radhakrishnan Nair? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
I
sir.
have a little doubt, a small doubt. What's the
Yeah.
difference between Prakriti and Maya? Are they
Difference
related? How are they related? Can you hear me?
Prakriti, yeah, I can hear
Can
you. You want Prakriti
Thanks.
and Maya, is it? Yeah. See, Prakriti is physical.
Yes.
Okay. Maya is
Yes.
Shakti. Shakti is an abstract concept.
Oh,
When it is understood to be a power of Bhagavan, it is understood as Maya. But when it is a physical object, it is understood to be Prakriti. What Bhagavan does is, he uses that to, like how the question asked by Madhav, he uses that to give the fruits of karma to Jivatma. More punya means more favorable parts of Prakriti. More papa means unfavorable sambandha with Prakriti.
are they related, Prakriti and Maya?
Yes, they are related very much.
Related. And which one is powerful, Maya or Prakriti?
No, both are like counterparts basically. See, energy and power, you say. Energy and power, are they related or not? In the same way.
Oh. So
Energy,
both are see, power of under the control of Bhagavan.
yes.
So one is
They are,
not overpowering the other one.
no, they are not different basically. They are very much related. Like depending on the energy stored, the power is determined. In the same way, Prakriti is the physical part of the relation. Maya is Bhagavan's the dominance or the Shakti power over the Prakriti, basically.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much.
It is, figuratively he says, Mama Maya Duratya means that the Prakriti is in his control, and he uses Prakriti to shield Jnana from Jivatma. But not because of his own prerogative, but depending on Jivatma's karma. That we have to be clear.
So can a jnani overcome Prakriti and Maya together?
If he overcomes Prakriti, he overcomes Maya also. It cannot be that he will overcome Prakriti but not overcome Maya. No.
So he can overcome both.
Yeah, it is possible through Bhakti Yoga or Prapatti. That's what we say. But both involve surrendering to Bhagavan in some form or other,
Yes, sir.
as per the philosophy of Vishishtadvaita. Because there is only Bhagavan who can make us cross the Maya, the samsara Maya. But we should have willingness first, and we should be able to make some effort. We should demonstrate that we are willing and we are capable,
Thank you, sir. So
Otherwise, he would not.
Both Prakriti and Maya can act on Jivatma.
Yes, it will not act on Bhagavan.
But what about on Anatma? What is that term refers to? Jivatma,
Anatma is predominantly Prakriti, basically. Though Kala is there, Prakriti itself is Anatma, basically.
Prakriti itself is Anatma.
Yes, what is not Atma is Anatma. And there are some entities coming under Anatma, but predominantly let us understand the Prakriti as Anatma. So Anatma only acts upon Atma, basically, in bondage.
And would you kindly tell an example of Anatma? What is the term?
The matter, the laptop that we see, the machine, the table, all these are Anatma, which does not have consciousness.
Consciousness. Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. And according to school of Advaita, Jiva is nothing but Brahman. Jiva Brahmaiva na paraha, na aparaha. And Mivamsa, they do not investigate much about Atma. They just accept Atma to be Jnana Swarupa. And the last box, a slightly bigger one in a different color, is the school of Vishittadvaita. Jivatma is Anu Swarupa, which is infinitesimally small. We do not know how small, we cannot say no dimension available. Anu Swarupa with Dharma Bhuta Jnana, which could become Vibhu, which can extend on an infinite manner. That is, it has Anuswarupa, its own awareness like this, and the awareness about everything else can go like this. It can just go on. Okay. Let me begin with the first Karika and continue in the next class. Anutpesati Chaitanyam Jiva Lakshanam Uchyate such a Dehendriyadibhyo Vilakshanataya Mataha. The diagram, the picture that you see is an example to understand what would, if at all we are able to see a Jivatma, it might look like this. There is a Swarupa and a Swabhava extending. Those lines are basically Dharma Bhuta Jnana, and that center in the middle, sorry, the circle in the middle, that is the Atma Swarupa. That is Anu basically. Okay, and the Lakshana or definition of Jivatma is Anutve Sati Chaitanyam. This is a logical way of defining being Anu and possessing Chetana, possessing Chaitanya. These both together form the definition of a Jivatma. Being minuscule in size and possessing Chaitanyam is a Jivatma. Even if one is not put, it would lead to Ativyapti or pervading of the definition to other objects. That we will see in the commentary. So, who is a Jiva? A Jiva is one who is Anu and who possesses Chaitanya. What is Chaitanya? We will see in the commentary. Chaitanya means possessing Jnana, not Jnana itself. Being Jnana is something different. Possessing Jnana is what is called as Chaitanyam, being aware. Okay, that is Chaitanya. So Chaitanyam, such a Dehendriyadibhyo, it is not Deha, it is not Indriya, etc. etc. Vilakshanataya Mataha, it is accepted to be different from Deha, Indriya, etc. Ata Kramapraptam Jiva Nirupanam Arabhate Anutva Iti. Kramapraptam means in the order. Dharma Bhuta Jnana is explained, but where will Dharma Bhuta Jnana be? To answer the question, the Jiva is being explained. Anutva Iti. We will stop here with the first line of commentary, and we will continue with the Jiva Nirupana in the next class. Any questions you can quickly ask me, otherwise we will end this class and meet again next week. I'll share the presentation through Vyoma. Okay. If no questions, then we will end the class as of today, and then we'll meet again next week. Dhanyavadaha. Kavitarkikasimhaya Kalyanaguna Srimate Venkateshaya Vedanta Gurave Namaha. Dhanyavadaha. Punarmilamaha.